Hello and welcome. You're listening to Start Again with Shaunna Lee, the place where you will be reminded that it's never too late and you're never too old to do the damn thing. So stick around if you're ready to vibe higher and be inspired to chase your dreams. Together, we will uncover your soul's truest desires. Now, if you're ready, let's get started. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Start Again with Shaunna Lee. Today, you've got just me, and instead of scripting out what I would like to so perfectly and eloquently share with you, I am going to just riff on it. I had this thought. I have been spending some time reflecting and kind of going backwards as we do, looking back to the past, reflecting on where I've come from. Uh, It's kind of the whole purpose of Mercury retrograde. So, similar to what we do at the end of the year when we're kind of assessing how we did against our goals, um, Mercury retrograde, which by the way gets a bad name, right? It gets a bad rap. Everyone thinks the world is ending and everything goes to shit because Mercury is in retrograde. And it's not really that way. Like, yes, shit tends to go wrong a little more often. Technology and communication get a little wonky. But if you look at it, you shift the way you're looking at it just ever so slightly. Usually, what we can recognize in those moments of missing a flight or having a delay of some sort that is hugely inconvenient, or any one of those just things that go wrong, it usually gives us a moment to take a breath. It gives you a chance to take a beat and kind of reflect on, where am I going? Am I being intentional? How am I approaching my life? Um, it gives us the opportunity to do that if we choose. Or you could, like most people, just get pissed off and focus on all the shit that's gone wrong. However, I digress. Focus, people. That's not why we're here. Listen, by the way, do you guys follow Pinky Patel on Instagram? She is fucking hilarious. I saw her live. She came and did a comedy show here in Austin, and I am totally going off on a tangent here. Bear with me. I had the moment when she came out. I got all weepy and like emotional because I have been following her for so long, and this is her very first tour that she's doing. And it was like a proud mom moment where, you know what I mean, when your kid does some incredible thing on the field of their sports and you get all weepy because you're so proud of them. Well, that's kind of how I felt. It was similar to that when I saw her come out on stage, because I was like, oh my gosh, she's my friend, who doesn't know me, by the way, because I've been following her for so long. And I am just so incredibly proud when I see another human being doing this thing that I have just, started doing myself, which is doing the damn thing even when you're scared and not knowing where it's going to go. Anyways, to see that she started out by creating these fun videos, she calls them on the TikTok. Anyways, she to see her starting from creating videos online and sharing them in social media to becoming a stand-up comic who is touring the nation, like fucking incredible. I just am like, hell to the yes. And so I got all weepy because I was just like, this is incredible. Anyways, she often will say, well, she says it with her fun accent, but she'll say, focus, people. That's not why we're here. Anyways, that's what reminded me of what I was starting to say. Where was I? So yes, the reflecting Mercury retrograde, it lets us reflect if we choose to. And that's what I've been doing. And so what I was looking back on was the whole reason for this episode, was, what have I learned as a coach? So in the last few years, honestly, I've been coaching people for many, many years, but actually venturing out to tell people, that's what I'm intentionally doing these last few years, writing a whole book to coach women through their divorce, actually through their life after their divorce. Anyways, what have I learned as a coach? So I've got 7 things that I wanted to share with you today because I felt like they're not all epiphanies, but it's been helpful for me to learn these, so I thought I would share. And that's the whole reason for today's episode. So the first one is, and this is the biggest one, not everyone wants to be helped. I'm just going to let that sit there for a second. Like, you can have the answers, you can see what someone is doing, quote unquote, wrong, which there's not really a right or wrong, BTW. But you can see how someone could shift their thinking or do something slightly different and improve their situation. If they don't want help, shut the fuck up. That's what I've learned. So, and this is probably the hardest thing when I started realizing I do have advice to give. I do have knowledge and wisdom that I've gained through all my self healing and my journey to becoming this better version of myself than I was yesterday. I have learned a lot and I am able to help people when they want the help. So the hard thing for me, and I would venture to guess for most of us when we're dealing with our friends and family, is we can see something a little more clearly from the outside than they can in the middle of that situation. But some people just don't want to be helped. Some people are really happy where they are and don't want to change. Um, some people's comfort zone is a big pile of shit and they don't want to move because change is scary. So anyways, that was the first thing that I thought, what have I learned? And that is the most, I think, helpful for me as a coach, is to not coach everyone in my life just because I can see a limiting belief or I can um, you know, shift a story for them. Just let people live their life. One of the things that I had earlier this year, and I've talked a little bit about it, but at the beginning of this year, I went through what I now call a dark night of the soul. It was the deepest, darkest period of depression that I have ever experienced, and I've been there a few times. Um, I've been fortunate enough that it's been situational and not a daily struggle with depression, but this experience was life changing for me. And in that experience, what I came out of it with was a metaphor for how I'm viewing life on planet Earth as a human being. And that is that it is an amusement park ride. It's like a roller coaster. If you think about it, it's a great analogy, metaphor. Which is it? I don't know. There's ups and downs, there's twists and turns, and you can view it. You get to choose how you view it, right? It can be exciting and thrilling and mostly amazing and a little bit scary. Um, or it can be this experience that you are terrified, white knuckling your way through beginning to end. It's up to you how you view it. But the epiphany I had was everybody is on their own ride. So you are on your roller coaster ride. I am on mine. We each have a journey and a path, and what we've set out to do here is slightly different than another person, and that's okay. So, tying back to this, not everyone wants to be helped. Not everyone wants to enjoy the ride. Some people really just want to sit in their comfort zone of being terrified, no matter what you tell them. So, for me, being able to realize that not everyone wants to be helped, it was easier for me to look at it like, okay, this person is on their roller coaster ride. I don't get to say how it goes for them. I don't get to say or have any control over how they're viewing the experience or how they could or should or maybe would do it differently. So that's my number one point of view. Not everyone wants to be helped, and let them be on their ride. So the second one is, and this one's so good. This was actually one of my limiting beliefs when I started as a coach was, who the fuck would want to listen to me? Why would anyone want my advice when I have been divorced 3 times? And why do I think that I can give anybody relationship advice? Well, first of all, I don't actually, I try to steer away from relationship advice. However, our mistakes are the very best teachers. And that's where my lessons have come from. So I like to say, I've made the mistakes so you don't have to. And this is leading me to my next point. I promise we'll get there. Number 2 is no one has it all figured out. Everyone needs help. And by that, tying back to the first one, everyone can use help. But if you look around at all the examples you see of people in your life, you can see examples of someone who has mastered their professional life and their relationships are shit. Or they are an amazing mom, but they can't cook to save their life. Like nobody has every single aspect of their life figured out. Um, you can see, oh, here's the best example. All of these amazing healers in the world, whether they are doctors, massage therapists, energy healers, spiritual or Western medicine. It is all the same. You see these, well, actually, doctors are probably not a great example because they do make money. But on the spiritual side of things, these healers tend to not have their finances figured out. They struggle to make enough money, um, but they're doing this amazing thing in the world, right? So everyone has their shit to figure out, is my point. No one has every aspect of their life mastered. And that is because we all have something to learn. I think when you're done learning, you're done, checked out, life over. Like the whole purpose of being here is to grow and evolve, and it's a continuous process. We don't ever get there. So no one has every single thing figured out. And I've said this before, but if they tell you they do, they're fucking lying. Like nobody has it all figured out. This is why therapists have therapists and why coaches hire coaches. It's just because we know something and can share something with you and have gained some wisdom. By no means does this mean that we have mastered our lives completely. Just means we've learned some shit and we can share it. Um, so that's number 2. No one has it all figured out. And I would venture to guess if you actually spent the rest of today kind of looking through the examples of people in your life, you will see what I mean. The third thing is how we handle money is how we see the world. And this kind of ties back to that whole spiritual healers not making money. This money mentality has been something that I have been fascinated with since I started following Amanda Frances. And listen, this woman is brilliant when it comes to teaching money mentality and mastering the ability to make money. But when you start digging into your money mentality, how you view money, how you view it as a resource that can or does not benefit you, what I mean by this is this, and this is such a loaded conversation. Like I could do a whole podcast on money mentality. I don't feel like I am the one to teach you this. So like I can teach you how to get over a divorce. I can teach you how to better yourself to become a better parent. I can teach you how to venture out and do like fucking scary things. Um, but and I can even teach you how to make more money and to see money making opportunities. But like the diving into money mentality, I don't feel like I'm the one to teach this. Amanda Frances is, though, and you should follow her. So, the thing about what I've learned when it comes to money is everyone has fucked up beliefs about money. Like, I shit you not, every single person on the planet, I don't care how much money you have or how much money you do not have, you have fucked up beliefs about money. And when we start digging into it, what I have realized is this is what I had an epiphany the other day. I was working with a client and she was telling me about her view on this dating situation. And we're spending a lot of time kind of working up her confidence and having an easy, flowy experience with dating because she desperately wants to be in a relationship. But the more clingy we are with a thing, whether it's a person you're trying to attract into your life or the money that you want in your bank account or the car that you want in your driveway, the more we are desperately clinging to the needing and the wanting of that thing, the less we get it. And it's because we're so focused on the lack of it being in our life, and this clingy energy is kind of a turnoff. Like if you think about it, when you all know the girl who is clingy with all her dates, and she's instantly like falling in love with this man, and she's had 2 dates with him, and she's envisioning getting married and having babies, and there's a very desperate energy behind the way she's approaching those dates, right? Whereas, and what happens in those situations? She doesn't get the guy, right? She's constantly going on more dates and more dates, and it's the desperate, clingy energy that is a turnoff to men. Well, money's the same way. And so it wasn't until I made this correlation that I was like, oh my gosh. And we can see the similarities between how we approach money and how we approach the rest of our life, essentially. So if you think, and this is, I swear I'm getting to a point. If you think money is difficult to come by and you have to work hard and sacrifice and constantly compromise a piece of yourself in order to get more money or earn more money, then you are probably also viewing your entire life like you have to struggle and work hard in order to be a valuable participant in society. You likely feel like you need to work hard to impress the people around you. There's a similarity with the way we approach money and how we approach the rest of our life. And so this is why I think what Amanda Frances does is so important, is because she's digging right in, and she goes right to the heart of what's your shit about money. When you heal that, it has this ripple effect to enhance the rest of your life. And it's not because money is not the root of all evil, but nor is it the source of your happiness, right? So money is simply a resource to be used. It is neutral. It's not good or bad. But as we understand this and allow more of this experience of abundance and prosperity and money to come into our lives, the more it has this ripple effect on more love and joy and friendly experiences and better relationships. Like it's just peanut butter spreading good juju all over your life. Anyway, so that that was my number 3. How we handle money is how we see the world. And then number 4, this idea of evolving or healing, being on a healing journey or growth as a human being, like this journey of self-discovery, you could call it. It is never done. Like we can always get better. And so the idea of always wanting to work on yourself to become a better person is a great concept, and one I think that as most human beings we experience this idea or this desire to be better than we were before, right? However, the caveat here and the important thing to figure out, the thing I've learned, is that it's never done. Like, yes, we can continue to be better than we were yesterday. That's great. I think absolutely. But we're not aiming for perfection. We're not getting to the finish line of like, now I'm done. I'm fully healed. I have no more growth left for me. No, like your whole life is a constant evolving, bettering experience. Like the finish line, it's almost like you're running a race and the finish line keeps moving. Like you're not done. You don't get to the finish line and you're like, okay, I'm all healed, tapping out. I'm good. And I think that's an important realization. One, as a coach, but two, as just a human being. Like, I think this idea of striving to be better, completing our to do list, reaching our goals, it's a never ending process, and one that can leave us feeling super discouraged or hard on ourselves if we haven't done more. And the whole idea is you're not trying to reach perfection. You're simply trying to be better than you were yesterday. Are you a little bit nicer than you were yesterday? Are you a little bit smarter than you were yesterday? Are you a little kinder to the people in your life than you were yesterday? Like, that's great. That's progress. That's what we're looking for. We're not looking for perfection. When I participated in Faster Way to Fat Loss, yes, that's what it's called. It was It is an amazing program. I lost 30 pounds, and their motto is progress over perfection. You're not aiming to be perfect, you're aiming to make progress. Such a shift that is so helpful. Okay, so one, two, three, four, five. Number five, the fifth thing that I have learned is be intentional about what you consume. Now, this means food, information, people, all of that energy information that you are consuming. If it's garbage in, it's garbage out. You've heard this phrase. When you are intentional about what you're consuming, social media is the best example I have of this. We all know that, eat good food and you'll be healthier. Obviously, you want to pay attention to what you're consuming and putting into your body. But the thing I don't think a lot of people are contemplating or being intentional about is what are you consuming for your mind? And I started doing this when I would log into Facebook or Instagram and instantly just kind of have this sense of dread. It was just negative. It was a horrible experience. And I'll tell you, I have a better ability to do this on Instagram than I did on Facebook, which is probably why I venture that way more often. But I've also been a little more intentional about scrolling less and sharing more. As I've ventured over the last few years, it's shifted for me, obviously. But what I did about 5 years ago was go through and unfollow every single person who wasn't giving me something in their post that made me feel better. So it meant I was started following a bunch of spiritual gurus and my closest friends. And then I started hiding some other people or unfollowing or unfriending. Um, Here's the thing, most people don't even know. It doesn't matter. And I think that's the first time I unfriended someone on Facebook. I thought, "Oh god, they're going to know I unfriended them and they're going to confront me and I'm going to have a whole conversation about why I." Nope, they don't care. Nobody is paying nearly as much attention to you as you think they are. But my whole point of this is that when you cultivate your feed in social media, and it is an intentional act, your experience in the way you interact with social media changes. And these algorithms are no joke. So the ads you're being fed, the things that you are seeing in your feed are a direct correlation to what you pause on, what you click on, who you follow. And I should know this is how we market in social media is by interests and likes and activity. So the point is be intentional about what you consume. Start with social media and then shift to your personal relationships. Who are you hanging out with? What is your circle like? Are they building you up? Do they make you feel better? Are they encouraging you? Are they celebrating your wins? Or are they the naysayers, poking holes in your plan? Are they asking questions? Because here's what I've experienced. When I first started writing my divorce book, I started telling people I'm writing a book. And it was the craziest experience. And this actually is tying into my next point. It was the craziest experience for me to step back from the comments, the feedback, the questions, and not take them personally. When I started to realize every single person and how they responded to my doing this new big crazy thing, which honestly, at this point, writing a book doesn't feel monumental. But I tell you what, it fucking felt monumental the first time I did it. And when I for some reason, like, oh, you've written a book? That just seems like it seemed to me back then like this super impressive thing that only really special people did, right? And here's what I'm going to tell you now. No, they're just the fucking ones who did it. They're no more special than you are. But when I was starting to venture out and I was scared and I had plenty of imposter syndrome and I was thinking of all the reasons why people wouldn't buy the book or it was a dumb thing or who the fuck am I to write this book about divorce? I'll tell you, I'm one of the best people to write that book because I've experienced every single type of divorce there is. However, to go out in front of people and say, "Hey, I'm Shauna Lee. I've been divorced 3 times," was the scariest fucking thing for me to admit. But then to write a whole book about it, like, shut the fuck up. What am I doing? Anyways, when I started, the whole point of me saying this, when I started telling people that I was doing this thing and I was plenty scared, their responses were poking me and were triggering me. And initially, I was defensive and it hurt my feelings. And one day I was at lunch with a friend and I don't even remember exactly. I remember the moment. I don't remember what she said. And it wasn't until I was like, hang on, this is how she views the world. And that's why she would be terrified to do something like this. And that's why she's asking me these questions. It was like a shift and something moved in my mind. And from that day forward, I was like, oh my God, their feedback or their question or their response to me doing this thing has nothing to do with me. It has everything to do with how they view the world and their perspective and their experiences and where they're coming from. And I thought, oh, well, that's a whole lot easier to handle. And so my point is when you are intentional about what you consume, that includes the people that are in your circle. So you want to choose the one you choose carefully, right? You choose the ones who are encouraging you and building you up and making you feel better about yourself and not like you should hide in the fetal position and wallow in your sorrow. You know what I mean? The last point I have for you is that being fulfilled and making money are not mutually exclusive. There's this concept in society that you can't actually do this thing that you love and also make enough money to pay your bills. If you look at a lot of these spiritual healers that I was referring to, you can see this proves to be true for them, right? I don't know how many of you go to energy healers, but I've gone to a few energy healers and I'm thinking, why are you only charging this very little amount? Like I'm grateful. Um, and sometimes it's intentional as a way to become not approachable, basically so that everybody has access to this amazing healing ability, right? But a lot of times it's not just that, it's that we have this concept that we can't actually do something that is fulfilling and also make enough money to pay our bills or to live an amazing life. And a lot of these spiritual healers have this poverty mindset or this I can't actually like it's bad if I earn money doing this thing, like I can't charge a lot or whatever. Anyways, you can also look at it like there's plenty of people who love to bake or love to woodwork or love to do this creative endeavor because it's fulfilling to them. But they have convinced themselves, oh, I couldn't actually sell enough cakes or I couldn't actually create enough so that I would earn a good living. And I'm here to say that is bullshit because if you were to like pick your example, I don't know what your thing is, and actually look around, you will see someone doing this thing that you love and also living a great life and surviving, and probably more than surviving, more than just struggling to pay their bills. They're probably thriving. I have plenty of examples. And in fact, I'm going to say this for any of you out there that are like, yeah, but not this person, or I don't know about this. I really love to knit, or whatever the thing is. Ping me, send me a DM. Instagram is my preferred, but whichever way that you follow me on social media, ping me, send me a DM, and I will give you the example of someone who is thriving doing that thing that you love. This will be fun. You should send me a note. Anyways, that's my last point is that being fulfilled and making money are not mutually exclusive. We don't have to work in corporate America or do this soul-sucking job just as a way to pay our bills. We can do the thing we love and we can also make a fuck ton of money. So, what is the thing you love to do? What is the thing you want to do? Anyways, that's my last thought for you. And the last thing that I thought to share with you on what I have learned from being a coach and working with all of these people over the years. The last thing I want to say is a little plug for my events coming up. So we are doing the World Needs You tour, and it is my book tour. It is my podcast tour, all rolled into one. So because I launched my book and I published it during the pandemic, I did not do an actual book launch party or a book tour. So I am doing that in conjunction with introducing my podcast guests to my local audience. So for those of you who are in the Austin area, we are starting north. We will venture south, I promise. But we are starting in Georgetown. This Saturday, we will be at Barron's Creek. So come out, say hello, meet my friends, Jamie and Amy, who were both on my podcast previously. Come say hello to them, get to meet them in person, have a glass of wine, and say hello to me. We are going to be venturing beyond Georgetown, although we will still be there next Thursday. The following Tuesday, we will be in Round Rock, and then we are venturing over to Cedar Park, and we will move our way south. So pop over to SimplyShaunna.com, my website, /events, and you'll be able to see all the dates, times, and locations for where we will be. And I welcome you. Please come say hello. And by the way, if you previously bought my book, thank you for that. And if you'll bring it in person, I will sign it for you. So I look forward to seeing everybody. And I am doing another scary thing. For those of you who think I have no fear, it is not true. I'm a little nervous about these events. I'm excited and nervous. So come say hello, give me a hug, encourage me, and bring a friend. It'll be super fun. And I'm going to give one last little tidbit of advice. Anytime I'm talking to someone about kind of coaching them through career stuff, interviews is a big thing. And this event for me is feeling kind of like an interview, right? We have the tendency to feel nervous and let our anxiety kind of take us away. And then we get shaky and sweaty and all the things, right? I learned this years ago with interviews. I will go in and instead of saying, I'm so nervous, even just to myself, I will say out loud to the person that I am interviewing with, I am so excited to be here. Because here's the thing, nervous and excited, same energy. So while I am a wee bit nervous for these events, I am very excited to see all of you there in person. Come say hello. Have a great week, and I will talk to you soon. Okay, listen. Are you struggling to find what your true purpose really is? You should try journaling. At the very least, it will get you to a better feeling place than where you are right now. I've created a set of journal prompts to get you on your way to discovering who you truly are and where you want to go from here. My free download is called Journal Yourself to Joy, and it's available at SimplyShaunna.com under Free Stuff. These are my tried and true journal prompts that will raise your energy, increase your positivity, and brighten your day. Download yours today.